Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Profit Plus podcast. I'm your host, Kesha Hill, and today we're diving into a critical topic for any service-based business: understanding your cost, how to price your services. Pricing your services correctly is crucial for profitability, sustainability, and growth. Whether you're a freelancer, a consultant, or running a small agency, getting your pricing right can make or break your business. So let's get started. Welcome to the Profit Plus podcast. This podcast is where we will explore the world of accounting and finance. I'm your host, Kesha Hill, and each week we will dive deep into practices, insights, and stories that inspire you to master the art of accounting. Whether you're seeking clarity in complex financial concepts or looking to advance your accounting career, you're in the right place. So sit back, grab your calculator, and join us on this journey to accounting excellence. Let's get started. The importance of understanding your cost. Before we talk about pricing, we need to understand the foundation, your costs. Knowing your cost inside and out is essential because it helps you ensure profitability, make informed decisions, and negotiate better. We'll start with ensure profitability. If you don't know your costs, you can't price your services to ensure profit. Make informed decisions. Understanding costs allows you to make strategic decisions about scaling, hiring, and investing in new tools or resources. And 3, negotiate better. When you know your costs, you can confidently negotiate with clients, ensuring that you're covering your expenses and making a profit. Let's break down the types of cost you need to consider. Types of costs you need to consider in a service-based business. 1. Direct costs, indirect costs, variable costs, and fixed costs. Service-based businesses typically encounter several types of cost, and here are the main ones which I told you about earlier. And what we're going to do is just break that down just a little bit further. Direct cost. There are expenses directly tied to delivering your services. They include labor costs, such as wages and salaries for employees, freelancers, or contractors working on client projects. Materials and supplies, physical goods needed to be delivered to your services. For example, software licenses and office supplies. Travel expenses, costs associated with traveling to meet clients or attend industry events. Indirect costs. These are overhead expenses that support your business operations but aren't directly linked to a specific service. They include rent and utilities, so costs for office space, electricity, water, internet. Your administrative costs, such as salaries for administrative staff, or office supplies, or general operating expenses. And then there's also marketing and sales expenses, costs for advertising, promotions, and sales activities. Those are what you consider your indirect costs. Variable costs. These are costs that fluctuate based on volume of work. For example, freelancer payments. If you hired freelancers on a per project basis, these costs will definitely vary. Then you have material usage for cost of materials, and that's going to depend on the project. Then you have, finally, fixed costs. These remain consistent regardless of the volume of work. Examples of that would be rent or salaries. So let's now talk calculating your costs. To price your services effectively, you need to calculate your costs accurately. Here's a step-by-step guide. Number 1, list all expenses. Create a comprehensive list of all direct, indirect, variable, and fixed costs. Number 2, align costs to services. Allocate costs to specific services where possible. For example, if you use certain software only for graphic design projects, assign that cost to your graphic design services. Number 3, calculate total monthly costs. Sum up all of your expenses to determine your total monthly costs. Determine billable hours. Estimate the number of billable hours you or your team can work each month. Remember to account for non-billable activities like administrative tasks, marketing, and breaks. Calculate per cost per hour. Number 5, calculate cost per hour. Divide your total monthly cost by the number of billable hours to get your cost per hour. Here's an example. Total monthly costs. Let's just say your total monthly cost is $10,000. Your billable hours is 160 hours. That's assuming an 8-hour day for 20 days. Your cost per hour is $10,000 divided by 160 hours gives you $62.50. This means you need to charge at least $62.50 to cover your costs. Next, we're going to talk about pricing strategies. Once you understand your costs, now you can explore different pricing strategies. Here are some common approaches. Number 1, cost plus pricing. I'll say that again. Cost plus pricing. Add a markup to your cost per hour to ensure a profit. For example, if your cost per hour is $62.50 and you want a 20% profit margin, your hourly rate would be $75. How did we get that? We take $62.50 times 1.20, and that's 1, and the 0.20 is the 20%. And that's how you would get the 20% profit margin for you to be able to charge $75 per hour. Number 2, value-based pricing. Price your services based on the value you provide to the client rather than your costs. This can often lead to higher pricing, especially if your services deliver significant value. Number 3, competitive pricing. Research your competition and price your services accordingly. Be cautious with this approach. Ensure you're not underpricing yourself. Number 4, package pricing. Offer service packages at a fixed price. This can simplify pricing and make it more attractive to clients who prefer a predictable cost. And finally, number 5, we have tiered pricing. Create different pricing tiers based on the level of service. For example, a basic package, a standard package, and a premium package. Those 3 packages would have different prices. A basic package might be $5.97. A standard package might be $7.97. And then a premium package might be $10.97. That's how the tiered pricing works. Now we're going to talk about adjusting for market and client factors. Your costs provide a baseline, but you also need to adjust your pricing based on market conditions and client factors. Market demand. If your demand for services is high, you can charge a premium. Conversely, if demand is low, you might need to be more competitive. Client budget. Understand your client's budget and willingness to pay. For high-value clients, you can often charge more. Perceived value. The perceived value of your services can significantly impact pricing. Invest in branding, testimonials, and case studies to enhance perceived value. Economic conditions. Be aware of broader economic conditions that might affect your client's ability to pay. Adjust your pricing strategy accordingly. Negotiation flexibility. Be prepared to negotiate with clients. Have a minimum acceptable price in mind, but be flexible to close deals. Now we're going to talk about communicating your prices. Effectively communicating your prices to clients is crucial. Number 1, transparency. Be transparent about what's included in your pricing. Clearly outline the services provided and any additional costs. Value proposition. Emphasize the value you provide. Explain how your services will benefit the client and why they are worth the price. Number 3, proposals and contracts. Use detailed proposals and contracts to outline your pricing, payment terms, and deliverables. This helps prevent misunderstandings and disputes. Number 4, confidence. Be confident in your pricing. If you've done your homework and know your worth, clients will be more likely to accept your rates. And in conclusion, Pricing your services correctly starts with a deep understanding of your costs. By accurately calculating your costs, exploring different pricing strategies, and adjusting for market and client factors, you can set prices that ensure profitability and reflect the value you provide. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Profit Plus podcast. If you found this discussion helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might benefit from it. I'm your host, Kesha Hill, and until next time, keep fine-tuning your pricing strategies and striving for profitability in your service-based business.